Hey, girlfriend. Welcome back to the Hey Girlfriend podcast. I'm your host, Kindall D. And I know it's been a long time. Um, I feel like I explain this often, but for those that may be just tuning in and, yeah, who just may be finding me. So, normally I try to have these every Thursday. I do. But your girl has been doing podcasts and doing this platform for some time now. And I'll admit sometimes it's a little hard to think of new topics where I'm not repeating myself or doing the topic I've already done. So if you got some new topics, shoot them out in the comments. If it's something you want me to talk about that I haven't really talked about in depth, then shoot it off in the comments. Spotify has it now where you can do it. Or you can, I guess, message me on Instagram if you follow me there. Just some kind of way let me know, because I'm like, yeah, I'm running out of ideas. I ain't gonna lie. So I don't do it as often because I refuse. I refuse to force myself just to do something just so I can have it every Thursday. So yeah, I'm trying. But yeah. So today's topic. I've talked a little bit about this, but what sparked this topic was I posted something today, Wednesday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. It's coming out on Thursday. But I posted on my Instagram on Wednesday a post about betrayal and how to not, and shame yourself for trusting someone that you cared about and that you love. So, in this case, I want to talk about some things that these men can do very, I guess I would say, like, it's not always in your face that they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes or trying to manipulate you. It won't always be in your face. It'll be covert. So sometimes you may not recognize it, or you may be naive to it. And when I say naive to it, I'm not saying that in a way to mean that, to shame you. Naivety is not something to be ashamed of. If you don't know, you just don't know. That doesn't mean that you deserve to have someone betray you or to try to trick you because you don't know any better. That still is saying more about them than you. That's still not okay. But I got my girls back, and it's a few things. It's more than a few on this list. It's gonna be some things that you may not notice that a guy does that I want to point out to you, so that you know when you're dating to kind of like either wave that yellow flag to yourself and like, wait a minute, they look a little suspicious, or either just run. Some things you may just have to run and be like, nope, nope, seen it before, nope. But sometimes you may not know, and you end up getting betrayed in the end, and it's still not your fault, but it still hurts. And to save you from experiencing that hurt, let's talk about some things. And these are things that I actually experienced when I was dating. Like after my toxic ass, like after Sebastian John, the ones I wrote the books about. Sebastian is coming. I mean, his is coming later. I'm working on it, y'all, for real. I'm excited. I guess that's why I haven't been thinking of many topics or many things, because I was like, I'm really trying to get into my writing game, like, and mostly doing that. Like, I want these books out. I want to be a real author. I'm going to be a paid author. That's what I really want to do. So I've been kind of focusing on a lot of different other things because my life has been through a lot of changes within these past 2 months. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. Let's get into it. So, excuse me. One of the top things that I feel like men do to manipulate you, and you may not always notice it, or you may not think nothing of it. You may think he's just making conversation, but I want you to pay attention if he is over explaining himself about something that you did not ask him, or if he's like providing details you didn't ask for. And I give some examples because you may be thinking like, well, what if this, or what does that mean? So let me explain. I find that men that offer information that you didn't ask for, or just start really explaining something to you, like it's like they're almost trying to sell it to you to get too prepped for the bullshit that's about to ensue. So, for example, I don't know if whoever here has read Toxic X Chronicles John. At the end, I give an excerpt from Sebastian. And in there, it's me basically calling him out in my head, not verbally, but I'm calling him out like, so he's explaining that purple phone case on his phone a lot. He was like, yeah, I wasn't even really looking at the purple phone case. And he just kept, I remember explaining it to me like, yeah, I got purple because that's, that is my favorite color and next to blue. And they didn't have a blue one, so I got purple. And I didn't ask him this information for this phone case. And he just kept really explaining it to me. And then in my head, I'm thinking like, you know what? That's probably that girl's phone. Her favorite color probably purple. So, stuff like that. Another example. This is from a girl that I coached. Um, she was telling me about this new guy that she had met, right? He was new. She was just starting to talk to him, and she started to kind of like him a lot. And she was like, "Yeah, he seems really nice and this and that." And then she started telling me some things that he said to her, basically telling her like, what did he say? Something about he can't have kids or that he has a hysterectomy. He really cares about women's health. He's pro-choice and something. It started talking all about this reproductive stuff and just really saying all of these details. And I'm just like, and she was telling me about like, yeah, and I'm glad he's this way and that way. And so I asked her, you know, what made y'all get on this topic? Because the way she was telling me, like, he's explaining a whole lot to her. Like, did she ask for this information? Which she did not. But he came and like just started telling her all this stuff. I think they had said something along the lines of that, and he just kind of went overboard with it, just over explaining, telling her all these details that she did not ask for. And so I asked her, how did they come about? And she was just like, yeah, she didn't really have an answer. I can't remember what was said. And so I kind of didn't, I'm not in the business of telling any woman I coach to leave someone alone or to run. But I did tell her, I said, there's something you may want to watch out for, because anytime a man is over explaining himself like that and giving you details that you didn't ask for, he's trying to sell you something. He's trying to prep you for something. Not sure what. And so it ended up being some bad things that came out with that. I don't want to give too much of her private details. I know you may not know her, but some of the stuff is a little private and it's a little sensitive. But it ended up being not so good and being a bad experience. A very bad experience. And yeah, that was tough because I'm like, and then I coached her through it. Excuse me, I coached her through it. And I told her, pay attention to that next time, things like that. I said, the way he was coming at you and talking to you, it sounded like he was trying to prepare you for something that he was going to do. And he wanted you to be like, look, yeah. He basically wanted you to be like, look, yeah, remember I told you earlier, like this and that, this and that. So if we don't use a condom, you should be okay. Or if we don't do this, you should be okay. And you should not just trust whatever a man says, especially if you just get to know him. Regardless of what he says, you trust yourself more than you trust him. He still has to earn that trust. And so, anytime you notice that, it's not always a red flag. It's not always a you should run. It's always, though, you should listen. And you should make a note of that. You should, have a yellow flag. You should be like, Not saying you got to totally not trust him, but that should be something for you to make a note of and to pay attention to. Not to just, pass that up like he wasn't just explaining the shit out of something that you didn't ask about, So be on the lookout for details like that. The next thing. This one is very covert. And I don't know why they do this. I have no idea why men do this. But if he attempts to make you jealous, I'll explain. So this is typically like in the very beginning, the talking stage, if you will. If you find that he brings up things and asks you if you are jealous about it, or he tries to make you jealous, or he even hints like he's jealous of you, saying things like, who you trying to look cute for, or you be good when you going out, this and that. I don't get that. And this is like in the very beginning. It's either showing one, he's very insecure for real and trying to play it off, or two, he's not insecure and just trying to, and doesn't really have any game. So he's trying to use it to act like, yeah, I'm feeling you. Or he's to get whatever he wants out of you. Example, it was two guys that I dated that did this. Really three. Really quite a few of them did this. I'll give the main points. So it was two guys that did this. The first one, I remember we were on the phone talking, and this is like, we were just talking. I don't even think we had gone on a date yet. No, we hadn't. We was just in the beginning talking, and I liked the conversation. I will put it that way. And I liked him. Well, I liked what I knew about him, and I liked the conversation. And so, at one point, he was like, so there's this auction coming up, this male auction for some kind of fundraiser. You know how they auction off dates and stuff with guys, like you see on TV. I've never seen one in real life, but supposedly he was asked to be in one. And so he was like, would you be jealous or upset? Like, keep in mind, we've just started talking, haven't even gone on the first date. You know, I met him on Tinder. We were just talking. And so he said, would you be jealous if I did the auction and so, and you know, I ended up going on a date with someone else and this and that? I'm just like, what? I was taken aback because I didn't know how to answer that. One, no, I wouldn't be jealous, but yes, two, I would feel like, okay, so are you serious about me dating? I guess I put it that way. Because I was the type that I didn't want any kind of games like that. You know, I felt like it was a game. And I wasn't down for that. And so I was just really thrown off with that. I still liked talking to him. I still ended up talking to him and went on our date. But after that, it really fizzled out. And I don't know what his game was, but I didn't like how it made me feel. And guys would do that. It's like, why are you trying to paint this scenario and ask me if I'd be jealous? Like, why are we talking about this? We're just getting to know each other. It's what I should have said, but I didn't think to say that. I was just like, I think I said, no, I wouldn't be jealous, but I am liking getting to know you. I would like to continue getting to know you. And if that's going to interfere, I think I said, yeah, if that's going to interfere with us getting to know each other, then it could be possibly a problem. I said something along the lines of that. And I don't know, it was just weird. I don't even think he really even had an auction because nothing else came up with it. Nothing else was ever said about it. So I don't know if they're trying to see how much you like them, or they're trying to see, you know, where your head is at, or they're trying to make you jealous and want them. I don't know what the game is, but yeah. Pay attention to it. Probably run, because it's nothing there. He's playing games. Second guy that did this, I was just talking to him, and we hadn't gone on a date yet. But we were due to go on a date, like, I think the next week because of his schedule. Our schedules just, you know, didn't flow. I put it that way. We couldn't get on one accord with our schedules because of his work hours and my work hours. So it was like a week or two in between of me first meeting him on Tinder and then going on a date. Nice conversation. It was good talking to him and all of that. We talked every day, twice a day. And I remember before the date, he was like, yeah, it wasn't right before the date, but I mean, it was like some days before it was coming up, or the weekend before or something. He was like, yeah, I'm having a get together at my house. It's probably going to be other women there. Is that going to be a problem? And I'm just like, once again, I'm always in the predicament to where I'm like, I don't know how to answer that. Like, what are you trying to say to me? Like, and I remember just saying, I wouldn't want to come to a party at your house. For one, I just read away for the date. And for two, I think I said something like, yeah, it kind of would be a problem because I'm interested in getting to know you. I'm not trying to, like, you know, have other women trying to get to know you too on the same level. You know, I said something like that. It would just be weird to me. I'm like, this ain't Flavor Flav. This ain't Flavor Love. Like, what are we doing? You know? So, no. And that ended up fizzling out. We went on a date and then talked every day, twice a day sometimes for like a month. And then it just fizzled out to nothing. And he ended up saying, you know, we didn't want the same things and this and that and that. Yeah, you led me on. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, pay attention to that when they start trying to, like do little jealous things and act like they're jealous of you or telling you, he used to say stuff like that too, like, yeah, who you trying to look cute for? Like, when I was going to get my nails done, oh, you getting your nails done, you used to be going out, who you looking cute for? And this and that. And then I was telling him I'm going out with my friends, alright, you be good not going out with your friends, and all of that little stuff. I'm just like, is that supposed to be flirting? I'm like, no. Pay attention to that, because it's a, no, they playing. The next thing, this is a big one. And this one is a little bit more on the serious side for me, because if a guy says this, best believe he is probably a narcissist and he's going to abuse you. Like, that's just flat out. And when I say abuse you, I don't mean just physically, or I don't mean, and it can be verbally, or it can be just manipulative. If they say anything like, you're mine, or along the lines of that, like, yeah, you're mine now, and you all have not really set a real commitment, barely have dated, or you just feel like it's moved too fast, but you're his, manipulation. And it doesn't always have to mean that he's going to abuse you in any way, or that he is a narcissist. It could just mean that he's definitely moving fast, definitely does not respect your boundaries. It's not cute in any way. I don't care if you're really attracted to him. If he's trying to declare that you're his, and you all are just dating, have not really set anything in stone, and you're just getting to know each other, but he really likes you, and he's just talking about some, yeah, you're going to be mine, and you just, like, he's possessing you already. No. That's not cute. That's not okay. That's not love. Does not mean he's just so infatuated with you and so in love with you that he got to have you. And I mean none of that. It's possessive. And it's going to turn into obsession. And it's not okay. If he says or does anything remotely close to that, run. Okay? Run. That is a run. It's not really a yellow flag. That's like a, whoa there, like, I belong to me, first off. Second off, take our time. I don't even, he's trying to tell you that you're going to be his, but you don't even know if you like him yet. You shouldn't know if you're just getting to know him. So, yeah, and keep in mind, these are things that happen in the beginning. Like, to help you in the beginning when you're just getting to know someone. Because, everyone can try to be on their best behavior in the beginning. And men have all kind of manipulation tactics that they'll try. And it can be very covert. It can be very, hidden to where you're not even realizing that that's what they're doing. So that's one. That your mind stuff, I don't care how attractive, how fine it may be to you. No. That's not cute. That's not okay. Run. That's simple as that. The next thing. I'm just so busy. If he says that, best believe that he's not that busy. He just doesn't want to make you a priority. And that's just putting it quite bluntly, I find that men that do that make up the excuse that he's just so busy, he's trying to manage your expectations. And what I mean by that, he's trying to make sure that you don't expect too much out of him. So that means if you all barely see each other, or if you hardly go on dates, or if you find that you're more so not talking to him than talking to him, like you're barely getting to know him, but when you do talk to him, you like him a lot, and you guys have a good, connection. So you're kind of banking on that. And then you start trying to understand him so much, like, well, he is busy. No, quit being that understanding. He's not that busy. And if he is, so what? That's not time for you to decide if he is truly busy, or it's not time for you to decide if what he said is valid. I put it that way. It's time for you to decide if the amount of time he has for you, if that works for you. If that is going to work for the type of relationship that you want. It's not about him. It's about you and what will work for you. He can legitimately be busy. He can really have a lot going on. You can decide that, okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I need someone that has time for me. And he can be the nicest guy in the world and really be busy. Oh, well, unless you think that you want to wait around and you're okay with not getting to know him that well and getting to know him whenever you can, and the inconsistencies. If you're okay with it, then by all means go with it. But don't expect more out of him. That's what he wants you to do, not expect that much. So, half the time, though, they aren't that busy. They really aren't. No one's that busy to where they don't actively date, find someone, exchange numbers, do all of that to just be like, yeah, I'm just so busy. You ain't that damn busy. If that's the case, you shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't even came and bothered me. So Don't let that slide. Don't fall for that. And don't keep waiting around for someone that's saying they're just so busy. They're just basically trying to say that when shit hit the fan, they could be like, I told you I'd be busy. Or when you don't hardly see them. And when you do, it's like, every now and then. He's like, I told you I'd be busy. No. Mm-mm. So that means that he don't have to hold himself accountable for nothing. And that he can get away with doing whatever because he's telling you, I'm so busy. So don't fall for that. Mm-mm. Run. That's probably a run, not even a yellow flag. Because, girlfriend, if he is busy all the time, it's time for another. It's time for somebody else. Move on. Next thing, if he says, I don't deserve you. If he utters those words, even anything along the lines of that somewhere around it, that pretty much puts him shows his insecurity, puts him in an insecure place to make him feel like that he's not secure enough to be with you or that you're too good for him. That's not time for you to be like, oh, I can heal him, and oh, he just needs the right woman, I'm just the right woman, or oh, he just hasn't met me, or I can be that to him. It's not time for you to scoop him up and try to save him. It's not time for you to hear that out and say like, oh, he just, he needs to know that he can trust me and that I'm good and this and that. It's no time for you trying to prove yourself. If he says I don't deserve you, that's something that's within him that makes him feel like he truly does not deserve you. And if he feels like that, best believe he is going to sabotage the hell out of that relationship. And when I mean sabotage, it can be cheating, lies, games, inconsistency. It can be all of those things thrown at you. And you're just on the sideline trying to figure out, what the hell. But if he says anything remotely close to that, I don't deserve you, or you're too good for me, or anything like that, best believe it, you are. Best believe you are. He ain't playing. He is serious. He don't need you to try to work him through that and help him heal. That's a him problem. You need to run. Yes, you are too good for him. Believe it. The next thing. If he talks about his exes in a very negative way. Now, I find that some talk of exes is okay. But it can't be to where he's only all blaming it on them. Oh, she was crazy. Oh, she was that. And she did this and that. I get that maybe the ex truly was crazy and did all those bad things. But what you want to see is how he's healed from that. Not hear him bashing his ex and how he's still mad at her. Like, the two guys that I mentioned earlier in this show, those same two guys had some sob story about their ex. Well, not even really sob stories. They kind of were. They had stories about their exes and told me these crazy details about how their exes treated them. And I'm just like, damn. And the old me would have been like, oh, I'm different. I can show him different. But the new me was like, yellow flag, you ain't over that. But I still continue to talk to them, but I didn't have my hopes up because I'm like, they ain't over their ex. Like, I can tell one of them, the way he was talking, saying how he still hate her and all that because when he was out overseas playing basketball, the girl cheated on him. And I'm just like, I get it that it's hurtful, but why are you dating if you're still hurting over that, And not only that, I feel like a lot of times, sometimes they may not even really be truly still hurting over it, but they are going to try to manipulate you emotionally to get you, in that, to get you in the sense of like, you want to take care of them, or you want to soothe them, or you want to help them, or it's a way to get you closer to them without them actually giving any real information about themselves. I'll put it that way. Instead of you knowing the real deal about them and who they are, they tell you some sob story to make you feel like that you are getting close, but you're really not getting close. That's not really something to make you closer to someone. That's something that you should kind of pull away and say, okay, yeah, what's up with you? Why are you still, ranting over your ex? That's something that you should pay attention to. Not move in closer and try to figure out how you can be different or get him to trust you and that you the better woman and all of that. They trying to pull at your emotional strings because I find that men that are not very transparent and don't want anything real, that's always like their little go-to. Like, all the guys that I talk to, all of them have some story about their ex and told me about their exes. There's always confiding in me about their exes. And, you know, a part of you can be like, oh, that's nice that they can talk to me about this. But another part of me was just like, but they don't tell me any other real things about them, like present things about them, about who they are. And so I look back on that and I realized that they were really, like, I feel like playing games, trying to get me emotionally attached to them in a, like, a cowardly way, you know, in a way of like, yeah, I just want to have sex with you, but I don't want anything real, so I'm not going to tell you anything real about me, but so we can act like we have a fake emotional connection. Let me tell you about the shit my exes did to make you feel like I'm confiding in you and that, you know, we're emotionally connected. It's a trick to me. Because if he's not talking to you about real shit, like present things about himself, if he's not being transparent about who he is today, about just who he is overall generally. Like, I'm trying to think of examples. But the thing is, if he is like harping on the past and talking about exes, that red flag for so many reasons. More reasons than I probably have said here. It should never ever be a reason of that. Now later on in the relationship, like say if you guys are, you know, in a relationship and you're working through things, and say if some triggers come up and then he mentions, you know, what his ex did and that's what triggered him and stuff like that, and you guys talk about it, that's totally different. But I'm talking about in the very beginning when he's just talking about all the bad shit his ex did and how his ex wasn't shit and all of this. Red flag. It should not be talks of that like that soon. Not at all. No reason for it. Next thing. This is the last thing. Future faking. This can be very covert, but I feel like it's anything that he's saying that's going to happen in the future that is not happening right now. And I feel like they do this because they're trying to sell you on the future so that they can manipulate you in the present. For example, one of the other guys that I mentioned earlier in this show, he did a lot of these things. Like some of the guys are the same guys that did these things. I remember he was talking to me. Keep in mind, we only talked for a month. Twice a day, every day for a month. Went on one date. This is the one that invited me to the house party before the date. Asked me if I'd be jealous or whatever. But anyway, so he had applied for this job in a different state. And I was really liking to talk to him. I'm like, dang, you know, I wanted to keep getting to know him. It wasn't like, no, oh, I like him so much. It was just like, I want to keep getting to know him kind of thing. I wanted to see, you know, I wanted to just keep it growing, like on the up, like you do when you date. Like, you know, in the time I felt bad, like, dang, I'm probably pressuring him. But he was making it seem like he was kind of wanting to go in the same direction. He never said he didn't. I put it that way. But yeah. And he was telling me about another job in another state that was miles and miles away. And I was just like, dang. And I was like, well, you know, hey, maybe I'll come to see you. I don't know. And like in the joking way, he was like, oh no, you are coming to see me and this and that. And then I was just like, oh, okay. So he wants me in his future. You know, I was thinking to myself like, oh, okay, okay. You know, I'm thinking that's saying something. Wasn't saying shit, y'all. And then, and then I remember talking to him, telling him about this cruise I was going on, like, which was, see, I talked to him maybe 2 months earlier than that cruise. And then I was saying something like, if we'll still be talking. He was like, oh, we still will be talking or something like that. And was not. And it's like, in the back of my head, I kind of knew it because we had only gone on one date in a whole month. Wasn't no other reason to not have gone on another date. And he just, like, never asked, but kept talking to my ear off. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like this is going anywhere. I felt like a guy that really liked me would continue to want to see me and date me, and we move forward. It was never moving forward. So I slowly started realizing that this is not going to be what I want it to be. But it still hurt in the end because I still had a slight slice of hope. And it's because of some of the things that he said, you know, the future faking. And so anytime that future faking tell you what's going to happen in the future, like not the near future, like, you know, yeah, I'm seeing you next week for the movies or something like that. Y'all know what I'm saying. Future faking, like talking about marriage already, kids already, or how many kids y'all are going to have and this and that. Or telling you, you know, what's going to happen within the next couple of months or the next year. And you all are just talking. You've just met. It's a no. It's a no. They're trying. That's like guys' way of trying to manipulate you and act like they're really into you. And that's their way of being fake. Like, yeah, selling you a dream. Yeah, they're selling. It's all of these are All of these are basically ways that a guy would try to sell you a dream instead of selling you who he really is, because he doesn't really want anything real. Like, for me, when I was dating, I started realizing what was real and what was fake by how it made me feel, first and foremost, and also how it advanced. So I'm done with my list. Actually, I'm gonna give you like a little insider to how to know to move forward. You would know when it's just very transparent. I can't keep it any more real than that. The guy would be totally transparent. It won't be any future faking. It would just be present moments. It won't be any of the things that I mentioned. It would just be him talking about himself. Like when I met my husband, it was such a different type of feeling. There were no butterflies. And you want to know why there were no butterflies? Because he wasn't selling me a dream. We were just literally getting to know each other. I remember liking him and thinking that I liked this conversation. Oh, he's a nice guy. I remember feeling all those things, but it was like no anxiousness, no anxiety, no butterflies, none of that. It was just very calm, like two people meeting on a neutral level and getting to know each other and slowly moving up. That's how it should go. It should feel totally like transparent, real, and it should not feel like that he's playing any games or selling you any dreams. You shouldn't feel super excited. Now, I can't say you should look forward to seeing him and look forward to dating him, things like that. But feeling these super duper butterflies, you know the feeling. Y'all know the feeling I'm talking about. When you feeling all like that, and more like he ain't the one. He ain't. But if he's doing like nice things for you, like getting you flowers or just doing generally really nice things for you on a date that well, a guy would do when he's really into you. If he's doing those things, then yeah, you're probably gonna feel like a little flutter, like, oh, that's really sweet. Like I did. I was just like paying attention to things that my husband did. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. But he always respected my boundaries. He always was very transparent, kept it real about everything. Never over explained himself about anything. Never made me feel like that he was hiding anything. He did none of the things on the list. None of them. Absolutely none of them. Not even the fake jealous stuff. He did none of them. None of them. Not even a little bit. And so, if they're not doing any of those things on the list that I just named, and you feel like that you're really getting to know them, and you feel like, they've been transparent, that you don't feel like they're trying to sell you anything. You know how it is when somebody's trying to sell you something. Like if you go to a car dealership and how they're trying to sell you a car. It's like they're laying it on to you. It's like they're like laying into you. And they're saying all these things, even things that you didn't think of or ask about, because they're trying to sell you something. Think about how you feel when someone is trying to pressure you to buy something, or you're in any store, anywhere, even walking through the mall, and these people with these curlers and flat irons trying to get you to come over, like, yeah, try this. You know how you feel when people are trying to sell you something. That's the same feeling when a guy is trying to sell you something. Except the only difference is you may be attracted to him or think he's cute or have chemistry, so you feel the butterflies on top of that. But if you have that feeling like someone is trying to sell you something, run. I'm telling you, it's not going to end well. They're trying to move fast and sell you something so they can get in and get what they want to get out. And just manipulate you. Sometimes they just want sex. That's it. They just want to play games, a little companionship to see what you gonna do. And they're not coming in being for real. They don't want anything for real. You'll know. So, yeah. I'm thinking about doing a green flags episode next to kind of go with this. Like, if he does these things, it's a good sign. Maybe I should do that as well to kind of explain, what to look for. I do have a TikTok video on my TikTok that talks about the 3 things that made me realize my husband was the one. Maybe I kind of turned it into a podcast episode. I don't know. But if you have TikTok, check me out on there. It's one of the recent videos because I don't post on there often because, like I said, I don't be having no ideas. I don't even know what to talk about. So I'm feeling like, God, is it something else I'm supposed to be doing? Because I ain't getting the downloads anymore. I don't feel like, I don't know. And so now I'm in my writing girl era. Like, I've been reading a lot of books. If you are into reading books, I read mostly black authors, I'll admit. I'm venturing out to some other genres. But if you are a book girly, I do have a TikTok book talk. Kindall D Reader. Like D is in dog. Kindall D Like my name, Reader. Yeah, I thought it was cute. Kindle D Reader. Ha ha ha. But yeah, I have a book talk on TikTok. I have one on Instagram, but Instagram is algorithm is horrible. Like I got 3 follows on there, and I already got like 500-600 on TikTok, and I just started like maybe not even a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Thousands of views. TikTok algorithm is just better, and there's more people there. So I probably just start that. Cause I got some other plans I want to do with my books later on in writing. That's probably what I'm going to mostly be about. Like, eventually. Just being honest. You heard it here first. Like, I'm moving away from social media. Not social media in the sense of, like, having my Instagram page for you all. My Facebook page got hacked, by the way. And I can't get back in. They blocked me. I've been reaching out to Facebook for a month. And nothing. They gave me my payout account because I had a lot of money stole from me when they hacked it. Because, I monetize on Facebook. That was a very, very, very hard thing to deal with. And I'm still upset about it, but I'm not as upset. So it's like I'm slowly trying to figure out what do I need to do then. Because I'm like, I don't know. So I like talking to y'all. I know a lot of people depend on my content, so I'll keep doing the podcast and Instagram probably. But like Facebook and all the extra stuff, I don't know. It's looking real bleak. But it's looking really, really good for the books. It's more books I want to write. So I'm leaning towards, I really just want to be an author. A really good author. That's what I'm leaning towards doing now. So, yeah, I'm making that transition. Life be lifing. But, yeah. That's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. As always, you can check me out on appinetgirl.net. All of my links are there. Books, coaching, all that's there. But until the next podcast episode, girlfriends, peace out.